morning we went to Meridian, Mississippi. One of my colleagues stated it best. He said it was a ghost town. You usually think about the civil rights movements, it's politics, it's racial issues, it's things like that. You don't really think about the economic effect that it had in a lot of cities too. The civil rights movement was an economic boom in a lot of cities, and that once that civil rights movement ended, a lot of the business started to die down. The shape of these towns that we've been to, like, it just seems like they've been lost by history. They're just dilapidated, and like, I mean, the newest things are literally the signs, and I don't know, it just scares me to think that if we let these things fade into history, the history is going to repeat itself. Effort should be put in towards making these things either more noticeable or more attractive, and like, just so people know about them more than anything, just because of the pursuit of knowledge and hoping that it's hard to progress if you don't remember.
For today, for a word, I would say just new. The newness of the markers and how new the Civil Rights Trail is as a whole speaks a lot to society, even though it's a part of history that we learn about throughout childhood, is starting to become new now because just where we're going as a society. So I'm a Black Studies minor at Wabash, and so like I read a lot about things that have happened and like study a lot, but it's all in textbooks. Seeing where the Freedom Riders bus was bombed, seeing where people were killed, and being able to see the places in person changes a lot. It's really going to shape how I learn things and think about things in the future.
The word that I'd use is progressing, or a sense of progression. There are several of these towns that we visited that are not progressing, even though they were these, monumental locations for the civil rights movement. Especially today in Meridian, there are a lot of rundown buildings that are filled with history, but then they're either run down or the sites around them are run down. I just think it's unfortunate. Why not maintain the location? Why not maintain the actual site? It's great to educate with a plaque or a marker, but if the building isn't there and you only have pictures of it, I mean, what's that doing? You're losing a bit of history.
The overarching thing for me is just appreciation. I've learned a little bit about civil rights before I've taken this class, but just going on this trip, I've noticed through every site, every day, I've noticed, people died for me, people like me, and, my fellow African Americans too. So today we went to Medgar Evers' house, and, he was shot down just getting out of his car to, just to going home. And that's like, I think about that, and it's just hard to really kind of just imagine that, you literally coming home and, going to your house, thinking about, it's just another day, and it's gone. I remember reading a small quote on his house, and it said, if I am to die, it'll be for a good cause. People knew that they were putting their lives on the line and still would go through, with the civil rights movement, sacrificing their lives. And I just think that shows the courageous hearts that they have. I'm just so, words can't even explain how thankful I am. This is a very important part of history. For the rest of your life, you should tell, those who are close to you about this, because a lot of people don't know about this. Like Eli said, if you forget history, it's a chance that you can repeat it.
I think in a way this trip was a metaphorical passing of the torch. It's our job to continue to keep that history known.